Do you actually like work? Like, do you have apart from the label and DJing?
No. I haven't worked since I've left university, luckily, because I've been working my ass off, and I think I've been lucky with the music thing.
This is for me. Like, hi
So
fellas.
there's three different
Four. Actually, it's four of them.
Yeah.
So we're here with at Rockville because we need to come on mention them. With Belgian multi-genre DJ and producer, boss of the 1985 label, Mr. Alix Perez, right? And Alex has a unique personal style. I think everyone knows that. Both in music, which spans across like 125 BPM to 175 BPM, while paving the road for experimental drum and bass these days still, as well as your own clothing style, right? So how's it going?
Good.
By the way, thank you for making time.
Of course.
After your
good.
gig in Escalade.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was a good gig. It was a really good gig. I enjoyed it. I played heavier than I usually do, but
I mean,
Czech,
it was
Czech Republic. I mean, Prague's different, but in general, they generally like a little bit harder. So I played some older tunes of mine, like when I was more in my techie phase and stuff like that. And it's fun, because like I don't get to do that a lot of the time. I usually I play a lot more minimal and just soulful, a lot of soulful stuff.
And halftime stuff is
Yeah, it's all dependent on where I play, which party,
Okay. Maybe like, because people here kind of expect like the harder stuff from like Emperor's playing in Czech Republic at the moment. How is it for you to play? Because you've played some big gigs in the Czech Republic. Later winter. I remember the set. I loved it so much. But what about you? Like, do you still find it interesting?
Of course I do. I mean, there's good gigs, and sometimes good gigs or bad gigs, but it's not because it's not busy, or it's just what I feel as the vibe I get back from people is what makes a good gig for me. Like, if I feel the energy and people are into it, then. And it could be 200 people, but it could be the sickest gig because they're going fucking crazy for like the deepest weird shit, or you could have 1,000 people that don't give a fuck about what you're playing, and that's worse. That's hard because you just feel like a bit of an idiot, really, because. I don't.
Would you feel like that on the stage?
No, but it's not like that.
With your background,
but it's more like I'm not going to compromise. So it's like this is what you're fucking getting.
Yes, that's what I'm talking.
I mean, yes, I will like adapt a little bit. Like tonight, I played a little bit harder. Some more like, but if I'm gonna play techie, I'm gonna play old school techie shit and try and school some people, or like introduce them to it. I'm not saying school. It's a bit condescending. So I'd say more like just showing.
We had this discussion with AMC last week. Because he plays so many tunes. He said, like, I don't mind the crowd being younger because that means I am actually dropping tunes that don't.
Having a young crowd is good, at art events like the label nights, it's quite young, and they're into like deep, the sound, and that's great. I mean, having young people is not a bad thing; it's a good thing. It means
Okay. Speaking of young, before you moved to UK, you lived in France for about a couple of years, 2 years?
No, longer than that. I lived there for like 9 years.
Was it 9 years?
Yeah.
Is there anything, because it's kind of, you were born in Belgium, but what about your time in France? Which of the three countries would you enjoy the most, for example, if you have a chance to compare now?
I wouldn't live in France again, I don't think. I don't know. I don't want to say bad things about France. I just much prefer the mentality and the culture in England or London, for example, than in France. When I lived in southern France, there was not really a music scene. I discovered music when I went to England. Or I didn't discover music, that's not true. I discovered electronic music, DJing, producing. I feel like France, not in a condescending way, but is a little bit behind in general, the general public. Not that interested in like electronic music and stuff, it's very sort of classic kind of vibe. So
What about the standard of living, mate? Because you were a kid, right?
Yeah. Well, it was beautiful. I lived in south of France. You go to the beach,
Now, when you compare it to busy London, like 10 million people.
I love and hate London. Sometimes I can't stand it, and sometimes and then when I go away for more than a few weeks, I miss it.
Perfect.
Because it has everything. It's so like at the forefront of a lot of things.
Do you prefer English? I mean, like ales or Belgian beer?
Well, I speak French. So I'm from the French-speaking side of Belgium.
Yeah, but I mean, like in terms of beer, like drinks.
Oh,
beers.
Belgian beer all
Belgian
the way.
beer or
Czech
English
beer's pretty good.
Czech beer's
Like
pretty
Pilsner, like, you know, you got
Yeah.
some good beers, but I'm not gonna lie, I think we smash it with the beers in Belgium.
Oh, maybe, yeah, sure. I mean,
it
that's what
depends.
I'm saying. Like
I
compared
like-
to UK and Belgian.
UK doesn't produce. Oh no,
I
that's
mean,
not
the
true
ales.
now. No, like craft beer, there's a big scene actually.
Yeah.
So that's not true.
Brew dogs and stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, I think yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Fine. So we know that you lived with Rockville for a bit, right?
yeah.
And how does like the household of such two great producers look like? Did you have time to chat, or were you just busy locked in the studio and touring, making parties?
Yeah,
or?
I mean, we were assigned to. Well, when I moved in with Tom, and I didn't even know about his music. That's when I discovered it.
Ooh, okay.
And actually, I don't want to be that guy, but I feel like I was one of the first people to play it out. And I remember playing his music out at Bar Rumba, and Shy FX hearing it and being like, "Who's this?" And then you know. Then he put out one of his first records. So it's cool, man. Like, there's a history like that with Tom. And we lived together for a few years, and then we kind of, you know, grown apart a little bit, as everyone does. You get older, you know, it just happens. We're still cool, like,
okay.
but we don't. To be honest, I don't have much time for anything these days. Like, you know what I mean? So,
Okay. What would you? Okay, I mean, we're gonna get to this. What would you do if you were not making music? Would you be skateboarding?
I'd be
Because we've seen just the picture of you being on a skateboard.
I
When
used
you were
to
a young
skate
kid.
hard. That was like my
you
passion.
seem proper.
That was my first proper passion. But I would have done something. I'd be doing something creative. That's for sure. Like I'd studied graphic design. I've got a degree in design. So
maybe some fashion, right?
yeah. Although the fashion world's, I mean, the music world's tough, but I think fashion.
You can have the look, and it might be even tougher, right? But you still do have this distinctive taste in fashion, which,
Yeah,
by the way, you can notice by my t-shirt. We love, right? We've noticed that you actually wear a lot of rings, 8 of them, right? Do you have one that's kind of like your pressure?
Well, I'm not
just
wearing
jewelry.
them, but I've got 1985 rings. But I just like jewelry and I like silver. I'm not into gold. I always like silver. But with the fashion thing, I've always been into it, like from the skateboarding days, because music and fashion's always been going hand in hand for a long time.
Perfect.
From like early hip hop, like to early rave. There's such an attachment with fashion, and it's so influential. So. And I just love clothes. I love trainers. I love it.
That was my question. Like, do you have a favorite brand, like, of clothes?
There's a bunch of
shoes,
brands.
trainers.
There's a bunch of brands. Obviously, Nike is my go-to, or you know.
Sorry, what was it again?
Nike.
Nike.
Yeah.
Is there any other brand that you would suggest, like, looking into?
For clothing, there's a bunch of stuff. I mean.
Do you know WSC?
Yeah, that's
Swedish
like
brand?
it's quite old school.
Yeah,
thing.
it kind of is, right? It was when I came first to England in 2003 and 4. They used to be big, but now they're kind of like the unisex fashion kind of guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're big anymore.
I don't know. I mean, there's snowboarding brand. I can't remember, but there's a bunch of stuff, man. There's like so many. It's like music. There's so many subgenres of fashion and like different styles.
Right. Okay, so let's focus on that a little bit. Like, so how do you put together merch for your own label? Do you design it yourself, or do you trust someone with it?
No, I'll do everything.
You do everything.
Yeah, because I'm a.
So the shirt I'm wearing, like all the
I've
tiny
designed.
bits.
I mean, this
I've got
particular shirt, the back print, the main print is by another artist called Senita. But in general, all from the logo to the sleeves, do everything pretty much. Apart from when, like, for example, here. Senita, you know, I ask him specifically to.
So you asked someone to design.
Well, I did this, and then obviously.
So you've done this one and that one and that one.
Yeah, but
really,
like, not that one. That's like old Shogun stuff.
I know. But you never know. Like, you might have.
I do most of it because, you know, I'm a control freak and I won't let anyone else do anything.
So how? Yeah.
I complain because I have so much to do, but that's because.
That was one of my last questions was, how do you manage to run a label, discover new talent, finish your own production, perform all over the world, and then all of it has to be quite demanding, right?
Very long days and just 7 days of, like weekends I'm traveling, and then Monday I'm doing like design, admin stuff. Then if I can, Tuesday to Thursday I'm doing studio. And luckily I've got management, and they also, we work together, the label, it's not just me, it's them.
Right.
Without them, I wouldn't even have time to make music, because there's the art and there's the music, but there's running a label.
There's running a label.
All the admin, everything is instrumental as much as the
especially like with the releases, like with each tune, it has to go through you. Isn't it?
Yeah,
like...
I mean the music is always my final decision, and I can be a pain in the ass, with Monty and those guys. It's like he writes a lot of music, but I try to fine tune everything and boil it down to the best. Yes, all these tunes are cool, but let's try, or balance every release. And I'm happy to give advice if they want, but I'm also not controlling of the music. The way I do it is like, I like this or I don't, and that's the best way to be with an artist, because I'll be like, yeah, this tune's cool, but not for the label.
Right.
Because rather than not say anything, and then I struggle with that a little bit sometimes back in the day, where I send my demos and just get nothing. So you just like don't know whether they like it or not. But at least if someone's like, right, this is not for me, this is not for the label.
Right.
And then and then that's it. And you got the honesty thing is, and it's hard sometimes to be like that, because you're talking about someone's art. So
exactly. You're talking about someone's art.
I've always had this conversation with the guys. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest about this, and there you go.
Hit it up. Sorry.
So yeah.
Those were the dark days. I mean, I did want to talk about Monty. Like, how did you discover him? He's also Belgian, right? So, is there any story behind him?
He's English, but
he's English.
But he's lived in France for a long time. I didn't per se discover him, because he had music on Critical or on a couple releases. Well, I don't know, man. I was like, hit him up. We got in touch. Can't remember how exactly, but he started sending me music, and then it just kind of happened. And I don't know, we've got a good relationship. He seems to be into the label, and there's no exclusive contractual deal, but verbally, he's 1985 artist. But I don't believe in the whole locking down artists, and it's a lot of pressure, I think, for an artist. I had a 2-album deal with Shogun. It was cool, but it's a lot of pressure. You're signing your life away, basically, essentially. And I feel like
you've managed.
But if you treat people right, they're not going to want to go somewhere else.
True.
And that's what I want to do with the label. All the things that
could you
I would have changed in situations that I've been in. I'm trying to do that with the label, where pay people on time, help them if they need to, just be honest. I think that's the best way to be as a business. I say a business,
It is kind of.
It is a business, right? Because
it's still business.
You have to, keep afloat. You're making money. You're spending money. It's a business. But
so you still manage to run it, right?
Hey?
It seems like you manage to run it quite efficiently. Like you can tell.
Yeah,
I've got all of your. I've got merch.
I've
got vinyl.
My management, because I was managed before just as an artist. I have artist management, but they're also now managing my label. So I give it to them, man. They do a lot of work as well. It's not just me, I like to say we. It's not my label. It's a team effort.
It's a team of sure.
And I think that's important. And same thing with them. It's like if we have issues or you just talk about it, you express how you feel, and you discuss things and you change things. You try and compromise in certain ways.
It's fine. I think it makes all sense, because it seems great, right?
Yeah.
The main thing that comes out, the music and the stuff that we see, is great.
It's a huge amount of work, but it's my thing. It's like my baby, so I love it. You know what I mean? It's like I'm so passionate about it. That's why I'm obsessed with it. That's why I can't let go of anything.
You said you didn't have time for the interview, but I've hit the right notes, haven't I?
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's something I want to talk about, because it's something that I love.
That's good. So yeah, there actually is something I want you to tell the people, because you've just released a Shades EP, right?
Yeah.
And there's a new EP coming out from Dogger, Mindstate, and Liam Bailey, right?
Liam Bailey, yeah.
Liam Bailey. I've already bagged it. So
that's all
could you tell us something about the forthcoming releases? There's anything interesting you
for
want to share?
example, the Dogger thing. He's a pro skater. Dogger is so there's Dogger and Mindstate. They both produce, and then Liam's the vocalist on the tunes. Dogger, Rob, to me, he's been a friend through. He's from Manchester. He's part of the whole Levels crew, all that DRS. But he's a pro skater, so he's a skater. He works at House of Vans. He's a sick skater. But one day he sent me this tune, and I was like, "What's this?" Like, and he's like, "It's me," and I was like, "Me and my mate Dave." Me and my mate Dave, and I was like, "This is fucking sick!" Like, and straight away I was like, I'd love to put it out, and then.
Is there going to be a video clip, like a?
Sorry.
What's the English word? Like a clip, like a.
There is a video.
Video, right?
There is.
There's one.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Is it already been
It's
released?
on my Instagram. There's links up there.
There you go. There's the plug, right? Yeah. Check out the Instagram.
Social media.
Social media. Do you have any other? I know that we've seen one of your last sets before you came here. You've kind of mentioned Razat and his release before he passed out. Is there anything you want to say, or?
I don't know, man. It's just really sad, what's happened. I wasn't even aware that he was critically ill. He died from cancer, unfortunately. But yeah, we met in Lisbon. I played a show with Breakage, and then he was in the car with the promoter, and he was like, "Oh, I'll make tunes, send me tunes." And then I was like, he made neuro stuff. He made a very versatile guy. But basically, I envisaged for him to be a part of the label, and another artist on the in the family thing.
It's a really nice thing that he's out.
But yeah, I didn't even know, and I found out through social media that he'd passed away. So it's just really sad, man. It really got to me. I didn't know him that well, but it really made me.
He's on your label. He's there, right?
It was. We only hung out once, so yeah. I never got a chance to really get to know him, but I don't know. I just had a good vibe, from the small amount of time we spent together. So
you need to tell me something, right?
Yeah.
So your first album is 1984. Mm-hmm. Your label is 1985.
Yeah.
Is there any correlation? Is there any connection?
Not really.
Could you just
finding names is fucking long. Finding names is long. It's boring.
Sorry.
But it's not that meaningful. It's more like I wanted to call it 1984 or 1984, but there's just so much Orwell stuff, based around that year, and I was just and I felt like I didn't want to call it 1984 because it's my debut album, so I felt like it's a move on from, an extension of what I've done, and it just sounded good, and it works, visually it works in design, so it's just simply that.
Okay, perfect, thank you. What about, last question, what about Brexit? Are you worried what's going to happen to the UK
Brexit,
artists?
Man, it's
or are you going to take the card and use your Belgian passport?
Well, I mean, if
there's one, no.
I think it's the single worst fucking thing that's happened. Literally. Right. Okay. If I could have one wish, it would be to reverse that shit, because division is not the way forward, and this is complete regression, and it's fucking bullshit, and it was sold to the people, to the people through propaganda and media, and it was sold a bullshit dream, and people have realized, and now it's one of the most embarrassing things. I'm not even English, but I'm I don't know, it's just embarrassing. No one knows what the fuck's going on.
I wasn't English, I was there for 4 years.
But no one knows how to handle it, because it's a catastrophe, basically. And we're still we don't know what the fuck's going on now. We still don't know what's going on now. Okay. And this is 2 years down the line, longer than that after the referendum. And I'm hoping that, because there's a petition and there's been millions of signatures. And
2 million, I don't think it's going to make a difference. Because it's 17 million people that
it's all down to the people in power at the end of the day. But I'm hoping that at least a no deal situation would be terrible for the economy and for England. Or
All right.
So, my view on that is fuck Brexit.
Fuck Brexit.
And cancel that shit basically.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Thank you, man.
I do have one special request.
But that's a bit of a. It's not.
I mean, it's just one or two.
Yeah,
There's no big of a deal, right? Adam F. Circles, that's just one of the remixes. Or High Contrast if you have an unglued remix. Which one would you play?
What's the first one?
Adam F. Circles, there's a new remix.
Everyone's doing remixes. Just make original shit. Stop
Make
doing
original
remixes.
shit, please. Make original
Stop
shit.
remixing every fucking tune. It's too much of it at the moment. Just make new shit.
Make new shit.
I'm saying that to new producers. I just see so many kids like only doing like remixing. Or it's just bootlegging stuff. It's like just concentrate on your own shit. Just putting it out there.
Fucking hell. Love it.
Ah man,
You did so well. Thank you.
Yeah. So-
I really thought like you were gonna.
Yeah, cool, man. No worries.
Seriously, this is amazing, man.
Yeah, safe, bro. Cheers.
You have no idea. I'm done.
Yeah, sure.
And they look. Yeah, please. And they told us like a day before you came. By the way, how old are you? Because we had this discussion. I wanted to ask. 34. See? Told you. I said 36. The same age as me. Hey, same age as me. Come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, 34 is one of those days. Okay.
Kill him in the old school too. Tell if you pull up the track.